Hey guys, how you guys doing? So just want to give you guys a quick update again. It's a little late right now, so it's a little dark in here. But yeah, so I just want to briefly talk about what happened the last few days. I'm actually um my dystonia has been pretty bad lately, and yeah, so it's been pretty rough. And honestly, since last time I spoke to you guys about uh getting the diagnosis and stuff, um just knowing that even the doctor or the specialists have said that there is no cure, or there's really not much they can even do about it as far as relieving my pain or um the treatments and things like that. So it's been pretty hard. I mean, I have to say, I just um yeah, just knowing that there's there's not much I can do. But of course, knowing me that I have always been a problem solver, and I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep trying finding solutions, whether someone's gonna tell me there's something I can do or not. Um, just like with anxiety, like, I mean, even the therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist didn't really know what to do anymore. They're kind of out of ideas. I found something that worked for me, that was never told by any of these, so-called specialists. So, yeah. So, I guess not to keep this, not to make this sound really, I guess, sad or anything like that. There is actually some really good news. I actually, after like 26 or 27 session, I actually finally had another like revisit with the doctor that's doing my neurofeedback. Because usually when I go in at each session, I kind of just do it with someone that facilitates it, but not with the actual doctor. So typically you meet the doctor again after 20th session. But because I couldn't, um, he didn't have any time available and things like that, I wasn't able to see him till like the 26th or 27th session. So, but I was, able to meet him. And first thing is, he showed me my brain maps and like, wow, good news. Your anxiety has significantly reduced, because on one side of, how my brain used to be, all these neural pathways that are like hyperactive has reduced significantly. I would say like 2/3 of it was gone. And of course, there's still some areas that could improve. There's still some hyperactivities and things like that, but um, yeah, but we both can see, with evidence and how I feel, that my anxiety has improved a lot. But I guess that comes back to, now that the fact that I don't have that type of anxiety, I still have a lot of social anxiety right now, um, because simply how I feel, like I constantly worry about um, the feeling I feel with dystonia, like my face being pulled kind of apart. And that, of course, makes me do weird things. Like I said, like I can kind of control it or hold it, and when I'm not thinking about it, it's not as bad. But um, for the most part, it's pretty bad. Like um, so I guess I talked to the doctor and I told him, hey, I finally got it. I can't even talk today. I mean, I can't even think. Honestly, I've been kind of out of it lately. But I told him that I finally got a diagnosis. I know what it is. It's dystonia. He wasn't very uh familiar what dystonia is, because it is pretty uncommon. And not a lot of people know about it unless you have came in contact with what it is and things like that, or know somebody that has it. So um yeah, so pretty much I told him what it is, and and he's like, hey, I don't really have that much experience with it, but I can definitely look at everything, your brain maps and things like that, and see if there's areas that I can help you with this. And then we somehow started talking about, he was asking me, hey, how were you diagnosed? How did the doctor find out it's dystonia? And I was like, well, I have tics and things like that, but that didn't give the doctor any indication until I told him, hey, I can't smile anymore. And that's another thing, like, guys, I can't smile. I can't hold a smile for more than a second. And this is what happens if I smile, and I can show you guys, is that um if I start smiling, I mean, I could hold it for a short amount of time, but sooner or later, it's, because all the tension's on the side of my face, that's what happens. Hey, Cody, shh, Cody, shh, good boy. And so this is when the movement disorder specialist realized, because I keep telling him I have all these tension, and I could feel it in my, top of my I guess my throat and things like that, my eyes and my face. And that's when he saw that. That's when he was like, okay, this is dystonia. So then I told the doctor that helps me with the neurofeedback. I was like, this is what happens. And he's like, okay. He's like, I have an idea. And he's like, what if, and it's actually really hard to explain this. So with neurofeedback, when they want to measure your brain waves, they pretty much hook this thing up and they kind of measure it, with the gels and stuff that's attached to these, I guess, electrodes and stuff that can measure it. But where my dystonia is, it actually creates so much tension on my head that they had trouble measuring how my brain waves are. This is before I found out what dystonia, like what I even have. And they were just like, hey, you have so much tension in your head. Last time we tried to read your brain waves, we couldn't read it. We had to do this again and things like that. And it was a mystery why, But so then I told the doctor, I was like, hey, because pretty much what he's telling me is like, we want to catch that in action, like what your brain is doing when you are doing these things, like. And I was like, well, the problem is, when I have these, I mean, I pretty much have it all the time, but I can kind of control where I want to have it, if that makes sense. Like, if I don't want to have it in my head, I could kind of move it to like my throat, for example, or to my shoulder, to my body, so that they could measure my brain waves. So, which is what I've been doing. So I told the doctor, like, hey, it's going to be hard for you to measure my brain waves if you want me to rest and kind of see what my brain does, because you won't be able to, my scalp will be so tense that you won't be able to measure it, because it happened in the past. And he said, that's true. What we can do is, I'm just going to have you smile for 5 minutes. And, even though it's happening, like this action is happening in such fast, like, in like a brief second, but we can zone in, and with neurofeedback we can see like milliseconds and things like that. So I can see exactly before this happens, what your brain is doing, and then from there, we can see if there's anything we can do, because if we don't catch it in action, we can't train your brain other ways. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So next time I'm going there, which is actually tomorrow, we're gonna do 5 minutes of me just smiling, it sounds ridiculous, because it's gonna be me just ticking the whole time. Not even ticking, but like I said, I showed you guys what happens when I smile. It's just gonna be 5 minutes of that. It's embarrassing, it's awkward for me and the person that's helping me. But I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. But I guess, at where I am and feeling hopeless and not knowing what the next step is, not knowing if I'll ever get better, having a little bit of hope, it could really carry you a long way, I guess. I guess in all aspects of life, I would say to never lose hope. I kind of look back sometimes, all these years of how did I even get through 6 years of, excruciating anxiety and things that people can't even imagine, is because I had hope. Even if it was like the glimmest bit, I always just knew that things would get better. There's always something that I can look forward to, or, whether uh, I was always constantly on the look, on the search for something that can help me. And this next step is sort of that hope for me. Because I have to admit, I was feeling pretty darn depressed for ever since I got my diagnosis. Just because I felt very, very hopeless. The lack of treatments, the lack of things I can do. It's just something that people don't really understand yet. You kind of have to just like, it's one of those things where you're diagnosed and you're just like, hey, this is what it is. Sorry. There's nothing we can do, sort of thing. So, yeah. So, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. And I'll keep you guys updated. And hopefully, all of this will be provide some sort of help for you guys. Whether in a spiritual way of just uplifting you guys, or actually something that you guys can possibly, take from and maybe help your own illness or some sort. But yeah, I'm just rambling today because I honestly don't even know what I'm saying. So, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated tomorrow. Hopefully they're able to be able to read my brain map scan tomorrow. And hopefully he actually is able to see something that's, out of the ordinary, and something that can be helped or improved through neurofeedback. But yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated, and thanks for the support, and thank you for all the people that reached out. Yeah, so okay, take care, bye.